Hello, Doctor Who fans. It's Who C2C Corner to Corner podcast. It's I don't know what time of the day it is, but we are recording this during a day at some time. My name is Paul, and I'm joined as ever by my good friend Jeff. But also we have a very, very, very special guest. I am delighted to introduce to you, although you probably know because he's got millions of followers. Safe Space Who. How are you, sir? You all right?
Hi, yeah, I'm good, thank you. I was telling Jeff that it's so nice to finally speak to you both because we've had that little group chat for 2 years now, and I'm surprised we never spoke to each other before.
Is it really
Yeah.
2 years?
Yeah, I didn't realise.
Yeah.
2 years?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, time
Yeah.
flies.
We-
Time absolutely flies.
we
It
talk to
really
each
does.
other every day, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Pretty much.
The
About
group chat's pretty active.
It is, yeah. Not just Who, is it? It's all sorts of things, and that's where we all met. And Paul and I, we've worked together in the real world and done our MCU
We have.
podcast, and now we get to chat with you and see you, which is great. So
We get to talk Doctor Who as well, which is a passion
Perfect.
that we all share. But before we start, I have to ask you, Safe, how on earth did you get so many followers so quickly? Because I remember when you started
What can we
on
do?
this particular Twitter platform, right? Because was it Companions of You who
Yeah, that's
you
correct,
started
yeah,
off as,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you had 50 followers or something, and then suddenly you did something, I don't know what it was, and you ended up with 1,000, and it was like, what? How did he get those? What's going on?
I have no clue as well, but I'm just so thankful for it. I think I've really enjoyed my Twitter experience so far, and I think I'm mainly quite positive at the same time, and I think that
I think
really
that's key.
helps. So yeah, definitely.
I think
Yeah.
it is as well.
And I feel like
also
during
maybe-
when the show's on, your follower count just boosts. So yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't with mine yet. I'm still waiting for that to happen. But I think also
It will
the
come, don't
rebranding
worry.
of the rebranding of, let's call it rebranding, changing your Twitter handle to Safe Space is a really good move as well, because I think that's one of the things that really stands out. When I look at your account, there is a lot of positivity, like you said.
Yeah.
There's no toxicity. If there is, it's gone pretty quickly. I think those people realize they're just not wanted there, really. There's no fuel for them. And all your followers just seem like really, really cool people, so it's really heartening to see a nice positive Twitter account on Doctor Who fandom. And I'm massively jealous of your success and your follow count, but I am heartened to see you being so successful now, and congratulations on that, my friend.
Yeah. Well done.
Thank you very much.
And
Appreciate it.
I must say as well, the stuff you put out, there's a huge amount of love for the show, across all eras. But you put out some really clever stuff, some really funny things, and I see it and I think,
I'm jealous of that as well. Actually,
yeah,
I think, why
what
didn't
did
I
I
think
think
of that?
of that? So yeah, well done on all of that as well. So you asked us the other week if we had a structure to the podcast, didn't you? You wanted to get planned and organised, and I was like, well, what's the structure? We just go for it.
Yeah.
So I spoke to Paul and I said, I think we need to look professional for this, and he was confused about what that word was.
I'm
as
that
well.
famous that I need a structure.
Yeah. So we put together a couple of questions, didn't we? And we thought we'd follow a bit of the kind of structure that we had on our first episode, which was kind of Meet the Whovians. So this is really Meet Safe Space Who and find out a bit more about you and your love of Doctor Who. So tell us, Safe Space, when did you discover Doctor Who and how?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was in 2005. So my dad was a big fan of the classic Who era, specifically Tom Baker and John Pertwee. And obviously he was very intrigued with the Daleks. The Daleks are so big in British history, British television. I think you can show the Daleks to anybody and everybody will know it's Doctor Who.
Yeah, even if they don't watch the show, it's iconic. And the TARDIS as well.
Exactly, yeah. And so obviously my first episode was Dalek in series 1.
Oh, really?
Yes, I didn't start from Rose, I started from Dalek. And my dad showed us the episode and we all enjoyed it. And then after that, my dad ordered the Peter Cushing DVDs. I think there were 2 movies.
Oh, brilliant. I love
Yeah,
those.
so both the Dalek movies, which I enjoyed as well. And then that's when we start discovering Christopher Eccleston's era. So from Rose all the way to Parting the Ways. And you got them there.
Yeah, Paul's got them there.
Yeah,
I think I got them here somewhere as well.
Hang on. I've got them too.
Such a lie, Jeff.
Yeah, and so it started from the Russell T Davies era, and as you know from my Twitter account, that's where most of my posts come from. My love for the Russell T Davies era, and yeah, since then I've become a big Doctor Who fan or Whovian, and yeah, so it just started from 2005, and I'm still here in
You're still
2021.
here.
Yeah, haven't left the show just yet.
So have you dipped into the classic series very much at all?
I've seen a couple of episodes, so I've seen all the episodes up till the Romans. So I've seen the last episode I
Oh,
watched for the first Doctor was the
lovely.
Romans,
Yeah.
and
I love that
I've
serial.
seen that's I think that's the best story I've seen so far in the classic era.
Yeah.
It's very it's fun, isn't it, watching the particularly the really early classic stuff, because TV and film was so different back then. Not just obviously it's black and white, but it's shot almost like theatre in a way. Do you know what I mean? There's it was all live in studio. There's and films were done like this as well. There's very little kind of close-ups, and it's not done in the same way. So I think when you're used to modern TV, going back to that, it's quite a sort of strange thing, isn't it?
Definitely.
But the core concepts are obviously still there, and I think as the show goes on, particularly with Pertwee onwards, I think it really starts to sort of be what it is now, in a way, if you see what I mean, in terms of the the kind of the action and the adventure to it. What do you think on that take, Paul? You look like you think I'm wrong.
No, I don't. I'm just staring blankly into space.
No.
I think, I think you've got a good point, actually, and it's interesting. Listen to Safe talk about the Romans, because and that being the best one. I think actually, if you're going to pick any Hartnell story that may in some way resemble the RTD era, the Russell T Davies stories, that's probably one of them, because you got quite a big ensemble cast. There's everybody's got something to do. They all have their own individual adventures. There's a huge amount of comedy in that. There's
Definitely.
that old kind of farce, and actually it's relatively quickly it's quickly paced.
It is, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's fast paced, but it's probably less stagey than some of the others that you're talking about, Jeff. Because I think you're right, Jeff. Don't get me wrong. I think that is definitely how it was shot. And when you look at some of those old serials, in terms of the pacing, definitely the scenes are much longer. They're more dialogue heavy. There's less action. Very few special effects, and if there are special effects, they're all done in studio, and sort of might look a bit creaky. Definitely look a bit creaky by today's standards.
That whole pacing thing, definitely. Some of the classic serials are 6-8 episodes long, aren't they, or longer in some instances, and when you're used to things rattling along in 45-50 minutes, and then you go and watch that and kind of nothing much happens in 30 minutes or so, so it is definitely a big change. But of course, without all of that, none of it would be here today.
Definitely,
so with the RTD era, I mean, for me, as we spoke about in our first episode, I'd always kind of watched Who, and Paul being older than probably both of us combined, had been watching it.
That one in, did he?
And when it came back, I was like, I'm going to check this out, because I remembered it and really liked the show, and then just kind of got hooked again with it. But what was it specifically about RTD's era that really drew you in, and is obviously you love all of it, but that's your kind of your comfort era, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I think mainly starts with the characters. I still stand by the opinion that Russell T Davies writes the best characters. I think his character work is phenomenal, and obviously watching Billie Piper in 2005 and 2006, like her character is really good, and obviously Rose is one of my favorite companions at the same time. And then obviously went to Martha, who's my favorite companion. Yeah. And then to Catherine Tate, who's another of my favorite companions.
Yeah.
So I think I really enjoyed it. David Tennant, he's my favorite Doctor and still is. And Christopher Eccleston was really good at the same time. So I just think is the characters and all the like the domestic scenes that RTD has. So sometimes with Jackie, and obviously we stop at each of them. The scenes with each of the characters that have their own domestic moments. And I feel that really puts the foot into the character and shows that just makes the character really relatable at the same time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that so my wife, for example, she doesn't really like Doctor Who. She always takes the mick out of it, and she has a hard time. It is shameful, you're right, and she has a hard time kind of watching something that is not real. Finds spaceships and things. It's all too fantastical and all that kind of thing. But I said to her once, it might be on a spaceship, but it's still characters that you care about, and with situations and things that you can relate to, and that's why it works so particularly so well with the RTD years. And Paul and I were talking, the other day about Avengers Endgame for our MCU podcast, and Cooper, that as well in our chat, he admitted that he cried for about an hour at the end of that film, and he said it's because you care about the characters, and stuff might be blowing up and they're shrinking and growing and flying and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, none of that really matters if you don't care about these people. And it's the same with Who. Aliens and robots is all cool, but if I don't care about the people in it and want to be in their company, none of that matters at all.
Exactly.
I think I don't know whether the show would still be here now if RTD hadn't drawn people in so well with that love story, the family drama, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I've seen people describe the RTD Who era as EastEnders with aliens, and I think that's perfect. That's a perfect description.
Yeah, but less dark and miserable.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point.
I think
because there is I think personally there's a real joie de vivre about Russell's era. There's a real joy to it. But it can switch very quickly into some real darkness as well.
It can.
There's those elements when you look at the end. I know it's written by Paul Cannell, but you look at the end of Family of Blood, the Human Nature two-parter. The ending of that is pretty grim. You've got stories like Midnight, where the Doctor is really pushed to the extreme, and then on the other hand, you've got. Exactly, turn left. I mean, atomic explosions in London and stuff like that. That's serious stuff. And everything that happens in Turn Left when they start getting sent into the camps and things, don't they? The families are getting split up, and that sent a shiver down my spine the first time I saw that, because that's very relevant. When those kind of prejudices start coming out, when people are sort of driven into those situations, and he deals with them very, very intelligently. But saying that, I mean, I think all those themes have continued throughout the series since 2005. They've always been very, very strong. And
none of the things that are tackled in it at the moment are new to the show as a whole. In theory, are they? There's always been that element of kind of topical stuff and social things to it. So, as I've killed the conversation there, I'll move on to the next question. So, what was it that attracted you to watching the show? As our next question, but we've kind of answered that. So, your favourite Doctor is Tennant's.
Yes, you did say that, didn't you? Yeah.
But I know that you do have a special spot for Jodie.
I do. Yeah, I'm quite fond of all the modern Who Doctors.
Well, that's the thing. I did a tweet the other day. Do we have to keep ranking them and stuff? And I find that I just don't like it. We all have a favourite Doctor or two favourite Doctors or whatever, but I like all of them. I enjoy all of it because I like Doctor Who. If I didn't like them, it's a bit weird. And, fair enough, they don't all gel with everyone, but I think you like all of them really. But what is it about 10 particularly that drew you to him? Because obviously you started watching with 9, and for me, I really liked Eccleston. I thought, he's brilliant. I think having an actor of that caliber starting the show again was another one of the things that helped kind of give it the longevity it's had. But when Tennant crashed through a mirror riding a horse and winking at Madame de Pompadour, I was like, yeah, he's cool. And in fact, before that, when he walked out the TARDIS, took the staff off the cigarette, broke it on his knee, and he went, "Can't get the staff these days." And I was like, "Oh, God, what a dad joke!" But what a brilliant bit. And I was like, okay, he's cool. I like him. So what was it for you with that Doctor particularly?
Yeah, I think it applies to all the Doctors, but more specifically Tennant. I think Tennant has the full range of the Doctor. So he's intelligent. He's also funny. There's also the darker side that we explore through him, especially in series 4 and onwards. And yeah, all these moments he has, such as obviously the Sycorax fight in the Christmas Invasion, his moment with Sarah Jane in School Reunion.
Yeah,
I thought that was such a good thing, bridging the gap between new Who fans and classic Who fans. So that interaction, especially with David Tennant being a fanboy of Elizabeth Sladen, you just felt his energy on screen, and that's something I really liked about him. And I just think because he was basically my first Doctor, because Excellent only stayed for 1 year, so David Tennant stayed on for 3 to 4 years. And I just think I was attracted to him a bit more. There's something about his Doctor that I loved a bit more. And since then he's been my favourite. But I've also liked Matt Smith. I think Capaldi's okay as well, and obviously Jodie I love at the same time as well. So yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So you've watched a bit of classic Who. Do you plan to watch more? It's obviously when you look at it, it's kind of a task that feels perhaps insurmountable because there's so much of it.
Yeah. And I get what you mean.
There's a lot of backstory there. There's a lot of back catalog.
But yeah, I mean, I don't personally feel that anyone has to have watched all of classic Who. It's nice to dip into it, and like I said, with modern shows being the way they are, is a bit of not an acquired taste, but it is certainly very different. But it is fun to drop in and out of it, isn't it? But are you getting the collection box sets?
No, we have BritBox. So I got BritBox for Sarah Jane Adventures.
I see, Paul. He's modern, whereas we're like, modern. Can we have it on Blu-ray, please?
I like my physical copies, mate. That's what I do. You can't replace it.
What do you mean? It comes in a box. Oh, lovely. I'll take that.
Yeah, I actually don't collect any Doctor Who DVDs. Everything's on BritBox or.
I think you might have told me that. I'm just going to close my email. I think you might have told me that before, and I remember thinking, oh, that's really like modern to not have any.
That's so Gen Z, right? Yeah.
That's what it is. And then I'm like, oh, what?
Who wants to own things these days? Who wants to actually something to hold? It's so dirty.
Yeah. Do you not want the postcards that you get with the box sets?
You don't want the postcards.
I actually have no clue what comes in there.
I'm never going to post them. I just want them. They're still in the box, but I like knowing I've got them.
Dear.
They're releasing a new one, aren't they? I saw a trailer. I think it was last week, earlier this week.
Yeah, season 17.
I forgot what season it was. Yeah,
season 17. Yeah. So that was ordered immediately. I didn't even. Do you do this? They announced it, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to order that.
Oh, mate, I'm straight on there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I am. Yeah. I mean, I've seen those stories so many times. It's unreal. I'll probably start quoting scripts if my memory was good enough. But I really enjoy having the physical stuff. I spent years getting the DVDs, and now they're re-releasing them on Blu-ray. I probably wouldn't have bothered, to be honest. The fact that because I've got them all on DVD, but the fact that the presentation is so nice, the boxes, the actual Blu-ray
also
upgrades, the additional features, all of that stuff. Because to be honest, that's really why I get it, because I've seen the story so many times. So to have new interviews and new archive content, and the actual loveliness, the gorgeousness of the actual box itself is a thing that I need to have. I've got to have it, but everybody's different,
They've done a great job, upgrading the picture quality of stuff.
That crisp as you like, and the sound as well.
It's shocking otherwise.
Are you both fussy on like the logo change? I know some people are.
Yeah, I am. I really like the logo that we've had since Whittaker took over.
Yeah, that's my favorite logo. Yeah,
I think it's just brilliant, and I love seeing it on stuff, and I hope that they continue using it going forward, because I tell you what will really annoy me is if for the next Doctor they change the logo and the collection sets end up with a different logo on them. Okay. That will, I couldn't look at the shelf properly.
So I was going to say, I just had a quick look at my steelbook shelf, right, and it's all got the nice new logo on, except for Power of the Daleks, which has the kind of John Pertwee / Paul McGann logo, and it just always sticks out to me that it's there. I'm not fussed about it, honest. You know, I can live with it.
Just go and have a cry in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favourite too, and you know, it doesn't bother me whether it's on one line or whether the word "who" is underneath.
Yeah.
It still looks awesome, and you know, I'm happy with it. Right, so I wanted to ask you about Safe Space Who and your Twitter account, which, as we mentioned earlier, is growing at an astronomical rate. So you rebranded, didn't you? And you were Companions of Who before.
When did I join? So I joined after Resolution, so in May 2019.
Yeah, because I've known you on there for a while now.
Yeah.
You know.
And I was a really small personal account, maybe with 10 followers. And then obviously that's when I started interacting with Doctor Who fans, and I thought, let me make my own account. So I made Companions of Who in May 2019, and obviously that grew. And then I think 2020, I think I changed to Safe Space Who.
Yeah.
I think before or after Series 12, I can't remember. And I think I'm staying with that name for now. There's no rebrand change.
But it's a good name, and it kind of like Paul said, it encompasses everything that you do within the account. It's a positive place, safe place. So what was it that inspired you to start the account in the first place? Obviously you love the show, but to get into doing all of that and running the account, putting stuff out there.
I think so. Prior to Twitter, I used to interact with Doctor Who TV a lot during the Capaldi era. Yeah, so I used to interact with fans on there after each episode. And I was obviously in my own bubble during the RTD era and Matt Smith era. No one used to talk about it during my school.
Well, we didn't really have social media to do now back then.
Yeah. So then I thought I joined during the Whittaker era, and I started to talk to quite a lot of fans. And then from there, I thought, let me try and make a fan account and see what happens. And I really enjoyed it. I think I made so much friends on Twitter, and I just enjoy talking to people every day about the show I love. And obviously we do get toxic comments, but I don't pay any energy to them. I just ignore them, and they eventually die out. So
that seems to be the best thing, really, doesn't it? But I won't block them because I want to kind of give that satisfaction of
I don't block as well,
feet or something. But by just ignoring, eventually they'll kind of dry up and go away. So with the account, do you have any goals that you want to achieve with it in terms of numbers and followers, or do you want to expand it into doing podcasts or YouTube channel or anything like that?
Basically, what he's asking is, do you want to compete with us? I think that's
when I'm on 30,000 followers, I might think of it. But at the moment, it's just safe space for me when I'm when I want to get away from my personal life. I just come on Twitter. So I just use it for that, really. And if it grows, it grows, and if it doesn't grow, then that's also fine.
It's just it's nice to have a place to be able to go and talk largely positively with people, isn't it, about something that you love? Because if you're like me, in the real world, I don't have anyone that watches Who to the extent that I do. So until the kind of Twitter stuff started getting going, really, I was kind of starved of anyone to talk more any in-depth conversation about it, and I used to go on Gallifrey Base and stuff and post on there, but on those kind of forums it's hard to keep up with it all, really, because there's just the conversation is so much bigger on there and longer and kind of following the way a thread works and stuff is a bit tricky. So Twitter works really well, I think. Our group chat, we said earlier, I don't want to get all slushy about it, but it's a really good group of people, and that's made a huge difference to the kind of enjoyment of it all overall.
Definitely. And it's a group chat that hasn't died yet. I know quite a lot of group chats die eventually, but this one's been lasting for 2 years. Still going strong.
Still going strong.
So we've had a couple of new people join, haven't we? And like I said, it's every day. There's something going on, and I'm pretty sure that within the next fortnight, it's going to go pretty bonkers in there when
Series 13 starts.
So I've led nicely into my next question.
Well done, Jeff.
You see,
that's professional, mate. You're getting the hang of this.
I told you we had no structure. We don't. But so what are you looking forward to for Series 13, and what are your hopes and things for it?
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to Chris Chibnall's take on the Centaurans and Weeping Angels. I think he's
Yes.
nailed the
Yeah.
Dalek, the Cybermen, and the Master. And I'm
Mm.
so excited to see what he does with the Centaurans and Weeping Angels. And it'll be something good to see Jodie interact with these iconic villains.
Some of the older monsters.
Especially
Yeah,
the Weeping
definitely.
Angels as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
excited to see.
did someone make a comment in the chat the other day that by the end of this 6-episode run, she'll have interacted with kind of all the big main villains, the Master, the Dalek, Cybermen, and the Centaurans, and I suppose you could say that the Weeping Angels as well. Maybe if they threw Ice Warriors in the mix, that would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you? I mean, they've been very secretive about everything.
Yeah.
What's your view on that? What do you think about that?
On the secrecy, or
yeah.
I just feel like it's quite a tough subject, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like they can reveal a bit more earlier, but so such as the Centaurs and Weeping Angels, I think most of Doctor Who Twitter knew they were coming back.
Yeah,
it was a suspicion, I think, wasn't there?
Yeah, we knew, but I suppose the general public don't know.
And that's the thing. I think the general public like Weeping Angels and Centaurans.
The popular
and I feel
monsters,
like if you promote them,
but they've been using the Weeping Angel quite heavily in that phone number thing.
Yeah, the little idents.
Which I think is a great little bit of marketing there. I mean, I'm a massive fan, and I can't wait for it. And I think also the new kind of 6-part thing is going to work really nicely. It's a bit fresh, a bit interesting, and it'll be interesting to see whether it's essentially just single standalone episodes that are strung together with something, or whether it is it's like Broadchurch, it's one massive story.
That's why I'm excited for Series 13, because Chris Chibnall's Broadchurch is one of the best shows I've seen, and obviously Series 13 being serialized, I'm looking forward to what he will do with it. Especially it's one big story as well.
I think it's going to be
if it's one big story. Can you imagine cliffhangers every episode?
That's what they said, didn't they?
That's going to be tough, isn't it? You're gonna have to, it's going to be like the old days when I was growing up, and literally it was like you were just hanging on for the weekend, for Saturday next week, and to find out what happened next.
Like,
to bring that back, that would be astonishing if they could manage that.
I mean, the cliffhanger at the end of The Woman Who Fell to Earth, where they're hanging in space, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that was good.
I love that.
And obviously with O in Spyfall. That was one of the best cliffhangers I've seen.
That was a killer, wasn't it?
And do you remember all the way back in Series 4 when Tennant regenerated?
Longest week of my life.
There was a week going around. Oh my God, is that it? Have they kept this secret? Is he going?
I think the whole nation was talking about that, weren't they? I remember my business partner was literally on the phone texting me, and he's ringing me up saying, "What the hell with that? What was going on there?" Like, well, I don't know. So, but you're the Doctor Who fan. You should know. Is Tennant regenerating now, or is it later on? I said, I don't know. I've got no idea.
But back then, we wouldn't, because there was forums and stuff, but there wasn't Twitter, and there weren't the leaks that you get now. It's like when the Daleks turned up at the end of Series 2. They came out of the void. Oh my God! What a surprise!
Surprise.
Like you said, Safe Space. They could reveal a bit more in the Advancer series at the moment, but it's so good to have surprises and not know stuff going in. And I think whilst we're hungry for info, I think actually kind of being starved of it ends up paying off better in the end in some ways. So it'd be interesting to see what they do release and what they don't.
Do you have any theories on the Flux?
Well, there's a question.
So I wonder if it's a term for maybe it's not going to be as obvious as you think, like some sort of flux in time or something like that. I wonder if it's the invading hordes and an army, because she said they're all coming, and I suppose it's a little bit like the Pandorica stuff, and all of the the enemies teaming up there. So, but hopefully they'll do something different to that, and it's not just rehash that, which in a way though is funny, because that was still how many years ago was that now? 7 or 8. It's
it was
not
a while
like
ago
it's
now, wasn't it?
11,
do you know what I mean?
wasn't
It's
it?
still
Yeah.
fresh in our minds, but
Yeah.
it's not like it was actually that recent. So yeah, I think I'll probably end up being wrong, and it will be a time-related thing, which is obvious in a time travel show. But
Yeah.
that's my thought. What about you? What do you think?
I have no idea, but I've seen a few speculations on Twitter about that purple portal we saw in Timeless Children.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
something
yeah.
related to that. Yeah, and it
Yeah,
seemed interesting.
Some
But
kind
I'm
of bleed
I'm
from that
excited.
dimension into
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. I wonder if we, because the Timeless Child came from another dimension, didn't it? So I wonder if they might explore that a little bit. So it's going to be very interesting. Perhaps when the series is done, you should come back and we'll have a Series 13 recap
review.
Definitely,
and go through our theories from the time. So I wanted to ask you as well about the Safe Space Who era of Doctor Who, which is your alternate worlds.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's listening who doesn't know about it, give us your pitch. Tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, so it's something I came with last year during lockdown, and I thought, oh, I haven't done. I thought, let me try and write my own Doctor Who era, like with my synopsis and put my ideas through, and yeah, that's when I started. I've asked a few friends if they want to pitch in some ideas, and obviously Jeff is involved in the Series 3 specials.
He's good like that.
Yeah, and so obviously, how can I explain it? I'll try and be secret, like Chris Chibnall as well.
So it's like your original fiction, right?
Yeah. So it has no relation to any of Doctor Who, so it's all new.
So that's what I mean. It's like alternate, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a different Doctor, and you've got your kind of fan casting, haven't you? For the characters, and you've got Mandip Gill in there.
I have, I'm a big fan of her, so I thought I'll cast
I would
it
never
again.
guessed. From all your tweets and everything else you put out there supporting Mandip, I've never been a Mandip fan.
You got to support her. No one does, so I have to be the one.
I miss her not being on Twitter anymore. She used to come back. But I like I admire you kind of. Some people write a bit of fan fiction and they'll do a script and stuff, but you've kind of gone all out here with the whole the Doctor and the companions and a series arc, and then that carries on into your next series and stuff. It is impressive, and the synopses that you've put together. Every time I read them, I'm like, oh, this is really exciting and could conceivably be in the show, and you've got quite a good mix of, lighter stuff and things that are a bit darker and, kind of historical and future. And it's really good. I'm really impressed by it.
Yeah, I've used my inspiration from all three of the writers. So Russell's character work, Moffat's darker tone and horror work, and obviously Chibnall's the mystery box type thing, which I've included in all of my series. So I'm hopefully going to release the specials after Series 13, and obviously Series 4
as well.
I've got 7 specials planned.
Oh yeah,
and Jeff is writing one of them.
One of them's mine.
Yeah. I feel like a showrunner right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Maybe it's grounding for being a showrunner. I mean, do you have any kind of aspirations in that direction? Do you want to sort of be writing for TV or for other media? And is that your thing?
I know. I mean, actually, in research, that's my passion. Science research. I think this is just a side thing that I do.
It's like a hobby kind of thing that you.
Yeah. But I like to see it hopefully go on TV one day if I could pitch my ideas to someone.
And also, we've got the main show, of course, but then there's Big Finish, there's comics, there's books and stuff. There's so much else around it, and Big Finish run a writers competition, where you can pitch an idea for a short audio drama and stuff. So you never know, and the show now is run by fans and of the show, and I think that's good because they obviously work professionally outside of that, but their fan knowledge of the show enables them to kind of deepen and richen the whole thing in a way that just a normal showrunner perhaps couldn't do.
Definitely, and I'll try to do my own take on pure historicals from classic Who as well. So in series 1, there's a Panko story, and in series 3, there's a Battle of Cartagenas, which is between Britain and Argentina, and I have both the companions on both sides of the conflict. So
Right.
so
you put in a bit of drama in there. That's good. Yeah.
So that's my take on pure historicals.
It's good. I'm excited for people to see the new set of ideas, and
Definitely,
you've got Cooper Hilliard working
doing my artwork.
He's doing some
art.
He does a great job.
He does, yeah.
So where can people find this?
On my account, I'll repost it again. Once
Once I
plug the specials. Things, they got quite a good reaction as well. Not big reaction, but a good size reaction, which I'm happy with.
Yeah, but it's just nice to do it, isn't it? To create something that's
that outlet, a creative outlet,
and work on that, and particularly with the sort of interlinking things that you've developed. You've really thought about it, and it's having written stuff in the past myself, and Paul has as well. It's nice doing it. So it may not necessarily set the world on fire immediately, but it's rewarding doing it. And then when you do get people who read and watch and whatever, that's really nice.
Definitely, yeah.
Paul's gone out of focus again there. Your new cat, yeah. I thought it was called Weirdo, but rat think. So I'm conscious of the time, and we've all got stuff to do. So I don't think I've got anything else that I kind of wanted to chat about. I mean, the truth is we could chat for hours, couldn't we?
We could go on for ages. We really could.
We talk about Jodie and the Chiplin era. I think that's like a 5-hour conversation.
There's a lot to say about that. That's for sure. But I think, I mean, for me, at my advanced age, my many years, I think, personally, it's really heartening to see younger people getting involved in the fandom and being so positive and so open and so inclusive, and generally picking up on all the positive aspects of the show and doing something with them, almost like feeding back into the fandom. When I look at your Twitter account and the messages you put out there and the interaction, the engagement that you generate and the positivity, honestly, I know I've said it before. It warms my heart. It really does. It's great to see. And I think when you look at things like that, you think, well, do you know what? Despite the occasional rudeness that goes around these things, that's always going to be there. But on the whole, it's great to see that, or it gives me confidence that not only is the show going to continue, but its effect on people remains largely positive, and is amplified through people like you, and obviously me and Jeff as well, and loads of other people out there, But it's always struck me that Doctor Who's always been a very positive show, despite the dark moments it has and everything else. It shows the human condition. It exposes it by putting the Doctor and companions in some crazy situations, that force them on the one hand to survive, on the other hand to just have a lot of fun, and in some way kind of reflects what we all go through, in daily life, but just without weeping angels and Centaurans. But the fears, if they represent the fears that we all face and grow up with, then that's something. I don't know where that all came from, but I guess the message is, I would say, keep what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. It's a real pleasure interacting with you on Twitter, and it's an absolute delight to meet you here and have you as a guest on our podcast.
And we need to arrange an in-person, an IRL, don't we? For some point, so.
Definitely.
I think that would be really good.
I'll mention that in the group chat. Hopefully, get some people.
There you go. Meet in real life.
Some people are too far away, sadly, there's enough of us that could probably do it, so that'd be really good. So we'll wrap up for this special episode of Who Corner to Corner. Thank you very much, Safe Space, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Continue to chat online, and we'll get you back in another couple of weeks, and we'll be back at Series 13.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you next time.